to you live from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania and Atlanta, Georgia. This is United Fan Zone with Sean Gregg and Mikey Douglas. What's going on, people? I know we're a bit late today, but better late than never. That's what I like to say. And this is United Fan Zone. I'm Big Mike. I'm here with my man Sean Gregg from the Pittsburgh Supporters Group. I'm Atlanta Supporters Group, the greatest group in the nation. And man, we're just here to give you some chat. We know we do our show on Tuesday, but we want to do our Monday and Thursday thing now. And Sean, how's your week going, brother?
Yeah, it's going really well, actually. Jumped in to watch the nice win the other day for the Rangers, which was a nice preseason game. But we'll get a little bit into that. But yeah, it's been going great. So
I put on the ticker that Rangers had one, but they didn't have one at all.
I just saw that. That was 2-0.
Oh yeah. So how'd you feel about that game, man? What were your thoughts? Give me some regular thoughts before we get into some of these panels here.
Yeah, so the first one is looking at Leny, was able to get back real quick on some of the things. I know everyone's going to say it's Rangers, it was preseason, but that was a Rangers first team, man. It wasn't like their kids, it was their first team. He managed to get back really well. Some of the youngsters look really well. Sancho again, horrible. I know it's his first game back. I know what everyone's going to say, but didn't look good. And we'll get back into that in some of the points in a little while. But he needs to go. But Let's talk about the striker real quick. Sorry, what a strike that was! Damn.
Yeah, it's a powerful shot to the top. I thought it was going to go over.
Me too.
Yeah, but good goal for the young man. I mean, that's what we want, right? We want that third striker position laced up, and I'd rather it be a youngster, it be somebody from academy than us having to go out and buy. So you always want that. So it was. I think all in all, the game was pretty decent. There's times where we're a little bit shaky, or there's times where balls were going places that I didn't think they should go. But that comes with preseason, right? Like I'm a person who uses Twitter. I'm in the football spaces and have these conversations and whatnot. And I see a lot of, when it comes to United and preseason, they treat it our opposing fans or neutrals, they will treat it as if, oh, look how bad they're playing, or, they're hypercritical of how we're playing in preseason matches, which I don't understand. I mean, I guess I get it, but to be fair, I'm not watching Liverpool's preseason. I'm not watching City preseason. I'm not watching these things. So the crazy thing is, I know, most hated and all that, and they always hate us, but the level of scrutiny we get in a preseason match, I try to bring it down a bit and understand what we're watching. Like, I will be there in 2 weeks to see, and I'm not gonna go crazy. I'm not gonna, because we beat Arsenal in last year in preseason 2 times with a penalty shootout for whatever reason, and we didn't beat them last year.
No,
so
we didn't. Yeah, and it's so hypocritical from other fans, especially Liverpool fans. When they're losing to Preston North End behind closed doors, and nobody wants to talk about it because they don't want to show the game on there. It is what it is. We're a club that likes to show all of our preseason games, no matter what. And if Liverpool don't want to do that, because at the end of the day, they're losing to Preston North End. Now, again, they had the kids out. We had our kids out. Yeah, we had Sancho and Leny playing, and Ahmed, and what a talent he's going to be this year. But I get it. I've been doing it for 40 now, 50, 25 years. It's always been the same. Let's hate Man United. Oh, they lost the preseason game. They're going to be crap this year. It's always the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, back to Leny, I feel like he's 6'4" and he has a bit of pace on him. He covered, and it's not even that he's fast; it's that he takes some long strides. I feel like he looked really polished. It's preseason, I get it, but he looks like the genuine article already. Just in this little small sample size, of course. But I mean, the guy looks composed on the ball. He played a crazy ball to switch the
Sancho, yeah.
and I was like, whoa, okay, that's what we need. We need, because Martinez can do that. Martinez, Pep said the reason why they lost is because Martinez broke the line so many times with his passing. So that's what we need. We need another player. We already have a goalkeeper that can do it. And I think Onana was pretty good with some of it. He could start attacks from there. If he catches the back line sleeping, they can link up top and do something. So Leny being able to do that, being able to be composed. He did misplace one ball and had us in under a little bit of trouble. But once again, preseason. He has to learn these guys' ways and how. I'm sure they're going to go over, hey, this is how I like the ball to receive the ball. This is where I want it. If I do this, hit me with it. Like, there's going to be all these cues and tells that they're going to be able to get to. And I like him already. I just don't like his face. And I don't mean like aesthetically, right? Like,
did you know how many Arsenal fans have been sending me pictures of poodles?
He just looks like, when he took his pictures for the club and all that stuff, he just looked like he'd rather be someplace else. I don't know. I just got that from him until recently. He made these statements about why he picked United over Real Madrid and all this other stuff. But those first few pictures just looked like he couldn't be bothered.
No, there was one point where he walked out, because I watched the video of, him coming into Old Trafford. There was 2 points. The first point where he first walked out and saw Old Trafford, you could see his mouth drop. He looked generally impressed. And then the other part was when he finally got to walk on the grass, and you could hear him muttering under his breath, like, this is incredible. Like, the kid, obviously, he's played in some big stadiums in France, notably PSG. But that aura of Manchester United when you come out, I think it's going to be good for him. And regarding his comments, we all know he wanted to go to Real Madrid. We'll find out in 4 years if Man United was a dream when Real Madrid come knocking again. But I'm excited for him, especially sitting next to Martinez. I have a strong feeling we're going to play with wing backs this year. I have a strong feeling we're going to play the back three with wing backs this year.
I would like that. I would like to play a back three and then have one center back, like maybe the center, the actual centered center back actually come forward a little bit more to join in to what's going on, because City does that. They do that pretty good. They'll have an extra man from in defense playing that's not a wing back, and I'm like, if we could just stifle attacks and just recycle the ball, just to give us more possession, and just to give us more chances to score. I feel like the pressure on Onana to have that many shots to be able to make as many mistakes as you have, it'll be mitigated, because you shoot at a guy 23, 30 times in a game. It's only a matter of time before a goal goes in. It's actually, to be fair to Onana, even though I am a fan of him, I am most critical of him as well. He actually he did pretty well with the amount of shots, given. So the amount of shots allowed, he did pretty well considering how much it was. It could have been worse. There was games we should have lost by 4 and 5 goals, but Onana was there to save it, or actually to put a man off, or the defense probably came in at the last moment. But yeah, I would like to have the ball more, and if it means 3 center backs and we're playing the 2 wing backs, I just want to know who's going to be that right back that right wing back we're going to use.
I'm assuming Dalot's going to be the right wing back. But you mean on the back three, or as the wing back?
If we're playing a back three with three center backs, and then we have the wings to mitigate, who's going to play on the right,
Dalot,
and who's going to be in the midfield? Because I'm okay with Dalot, but like, if Wan-Bissaka is going to leave, it can't just be Dalot there.
No,
right?
I think we'll get a replacement, like a cheap replacement, 10, 15 million replacement in for Wan-Bissaka, because at the end of the day, I like what they're doing. Whatever position is being sold, they're reinvesting that into that position. So like if McTominay goes, for instance, then we're going to use that for Ugarte or whoever they want to come in from Ugarte. There was things flying around today that Barcelona are so desperate to get rid of Frankie de Jong, they're willing to part with him for 30 million. I don't think it's a good idea now, but 30 million for Frankie de Jong in the system, I think we're starting to see too many Dutch people in this team. They lost to England, so they're not that great.
Honestly, whatever works. There was
Yes,
that
yeah.
time. There's that time where Wolves, at their most successful, they had like a half Portuguese team.
Yeah, they did.
And the coach is Portuguese
Yeah,
and half the team is Portuguese. So, whatever works, I'm with. If it just, it's kind of like FIFA when you add your manager and he's French, and then you just pick a bunch of French players, they just perform better. So, hopefully, Ten Hag, there's no excuses for Ten Hag this year. We're gonna, and I hate to say that already, but I don't think there's gonna be many excuses, especially when you have the Dutch contingency around you. I would still like to see who's the Colombian guy that we're looking at again. I would like to see him. I would like to see if we could sign him and what he can do, because I'm seeing all these highlight clips about him and people going crazy. But I
the young player. I did see that pop up earlier.
I'd love to see what that guy can do, because I'm seeing the highlights and they look great. They look great. But coming to United, once you put that red shirt on, the target of the entire planet is on your back now. Everybody hates you. They hate everything you represent. They don't like you. And then it only takes us 2 or 3 games for the fans to turn on you. That's all it takes.
His name is Richard Rios. He's from Palmeiras. Yeah.
I want to see. I want to see. I'm looking at him now. I'm
17 million.
I've been digging. Yeah, for the money, I've been digging it up. I've been looking. I'm like, if we could talk him down to about 15 or 11 million, and just let him build his stock, then I'm with that. But Ten Hag is building a little click here, and then I'm all right with. I'm all right so far with. And
I was one of those people that was Ten Hag in until Christmas if he doesn't play well. But I've started to change my mind in the fact that of what we've seen this summer from Ineos. It's like if you really think about it right now, this is a brand new team, a brand new manager. Like it just feels different, and to give him 3 or 4 brand new players that are going to go in the first team and ask him to gel well immediately. Like Zerski's not, he's going to be a great player, I believe, but he's going to take time to adjust. Yoro'S going to take time to adjust. And you got these players coming in, and I think we should give him the rest of the season now. I just think with everyone coming in, I think we should just give him the rest of the season. And if we finish anywhere close to what we finished last year, time for the door. But I don't think Christmas time's enough time for him to really get everything gelling and doing well. I still think we'll finish top 4. But he's going to need some time to make these players gel and work well.
I'm not going to say a time, because I was on the Ten Hag in train for a long time until we took that loss to Chelsea when we were up, and he went defensive for whatever reason, and that I had seen enough at that point, and that spun me. That spun me there. I really didn't recover from that. Now I'm Ten Hag in for sure. He's done the business. He's done the last few games and then winning the FA Cup. If anybody wants to go and look it up on United View, I said we should win the FA Cup and get top 4. 1 out of 2 ain't bad. I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna say it again to them in South Carolina. I'm gonna find them again, and I'm gonna say it to them again. But yeah, he definitely deserves the year. I'm gonna give him the year, and win, lose, or draw, he gets the year. And just on the basis of you won 2 trophies here. So the least I can do is give you this year, and then we'll see. And then also the manager market is kind of It's nothing. It's really
Yeah.
there's really
There's
nothing
more.
there, you know. So once again, if we were gonna do it, we should have done it already, you know.
Like,
But like, we just wait a year and just see what you can do. Cool.
if anyone thinks this summer is a big summer for Man United, wait till next summer. Wait until next summer. You've got Lindelof is out of contract. Maguire's out of contract. Sancho, Anthony doesn't play well. He's gone. A lot of these players are fighting for their career at Man United right now. And I don't see all of them staying next year. I see about 4 or 5 leaving next summer. So if anyone thinks this summer, is going to be, a good summer, you wait until next year. Especially if we can make Champions League, that's an extra $100 million into the transfer kitty. And look at the business that we're doing right now on limited budget. So I'm really excited about next summer, and I'm also excited about January. When was the last time we signed? And I mean signed, not loaned. Signed a player in January. And I feel like we have that people to come in now and go, hey, we're doing well. We're maybe 5th, maybe 4th. We just need that one extra little step. I believe this current people in the backroom staff could go, that's the player we need. Let's get him in real quick for a decent amount. And I think we can do that in January now. Whereas before we just, we didn't sign anyone in January because it took 2 months to get a deal over the line from the previous, so that's probably why we weren't doing anyone. Signing anyone, should I say. So, I'm excited about this, this current backroom staff to be able to pinpoint and sit there and say, hey, this is it. And especially, I'm not sure if you heard the comments of Ten Hag the other day, where he said, I'm not doing this anymore. And it's great that I actually have a backroom staff that's able to take all this off my hands. So,
I mean, since we talk about ins and outs and transfers and all that good stuff, let's segue to our next point with Sancho to PSG. Is there legit interest there? What are you hearing?
I'm hearing there's real interest. There was reports today that Bruno was included in those talks, but Fabrizio came out today and said that that's not true. That there's no talks in there. But if they want Sancho and we want Ugarte, this shouldn't take long. This should not take long. I am more than happy to go, here's Sancho, I'll take Ugarte. I don't care. Just get rid of Sancho. I don't think he's suited for the Premier League, and I think he'll do excellent at PSG. He's that player that likes to have the ball. He likes to do his look when he went back to Borussia Dortmund. He was he did pretty well. He was able to do his tricks and all that stuff. So the German league's a little slower than the Premier League. So I feel like the PSG would be a good place for him to go, and we need a central midfielder. So why not?
So you feel like he didn't play well in the preseason match? I think he was just okay. He was just okay. I don't think he did any.
Yeah.
I don't think he did wrong. I don't think he did. He didn't give me anything to write home to mom about.
Yeah.
So I didn't see bad. I did with a couple spells where he had the ball and he looked kind of lively. And a couple times he gave it away, as he does. I didn't. Once again, it's the preseason, so I'm not gonna harp on him too bad. But I think the experiment might be over. To see what he's has. We know what he's about, and I think the Premier other teams know what he's on. He's not fast, and he's not breaking down guys. People know to commit 2 guys to him. And I don't see. I like the depth idea of it. It's like, yeah, we got another guy that's capable of doing things, but it's like, is he capable? Have we seen him do it for us? Consistently? No, but Rashford isn't doing it consistently either.
Yeah.
He's been there for years. So it's like, we need a consistent out and out guy that's going to be able to, like Liverpool has it. City have it. They have the guys. They have the wingers that's going to do it. Arsenal kind of have it, right? They kind of have 2 wingers that can get there, right? Yeah. We need those 2 guys that can get there, that can beat a man, play a ball in, or just cross the ball. Just be able to cross the ball, please. I think that's a lost art all of a sudden. Guys just don't want to cross the ball. They want to cut in.
Yeah, an out-and-out winger it's a lost art now. I believe, this is going to be a kick-on year for Garnacho. I think overplayed him last year. Unfortunately, he did well at the end of the season, but I think he was overplayed. No one really was fighting for his spot. But I think with him and Ahmed, maybe being on the right, because I think Garnacho plays better off the right than the left. I do. But he can play off the left. So if Sancho goes, they have the ability to put, Garnacho on the right. We're talking about inconsistencies, but he's been here for 2 years, and this leads to a point with Anthony as well. He's also been here for 2 years. But the difference between Anthony and Sancho is Anthony had a lot of shit going on last year. Whether it's true, whether it's not, we don't know yet. But he had a lot of shit going on. He got taken out of the team for an extended period of time. So he had not an excuse, but there was a reason why he wasn't performing last year. I'd like to see him kick on. If Anthony is not playing good at Christmas time, he needs to go instantly. I think but Sancho has no excuse. I just think it's pure laziness. Like you just, is it laziness or inability to adapt to the Premier League? I know you played at City. I know you're a British player, but it doesn't mean you're adapted well to the Premier League. So
I think he does well for England when he plays.
Yeah, but that you're also playing against teams. That's like playing in Europe. You're playing against teams that are slower on the ball, more defensive. It's not as continuously fast paced as the Premier League is. So, when playing well for England, I think is more comparable to playing well for Man United in the Champions League than it is in the Premier League.
I'll say I think the opposite is true for the Anthony thing. Anthony will give you some. He'll give you some effort coming back.
Mm-hmm.
He's faster, but he's technically not as good as Sancho is, right? He's not.
No.
Yeah, so like that's the drop off for Anthony. Is like, yeah, you get back and you have some pace, but like you'll lose the ball. You don't want to cross. You have 1 foot. Like you always want to cut in. Everybody knows what you want to do, and you'll give us that wonder goal 1% of the time that we need. But then it's like, Sancho, you're not really that much better. You might be technically sound.
Yeah, we got that wonder goal against Liverpool last year, but before he left. But it's the same as Anthony, and you're right with Anthony. Like I really think there's a good player in there if he could just go down the right and learn to cross that ball instead of cutting in all the time. Because it's so easy to defend against. He's going to do some trick, cut back in on the left, either shoot or pass across the goal line. How hard is it for a defender to realize, oh, Anthony's come in, I'm going to step up here and let the other guy block the shot. If you take a step up there and Man United are on a counter attack, now your entire midfield and defense is, it's so easy to pick out. So I just think if he could just learn to use that right foot a lot more and go down the right wing. And we've seen it at Ajax. We know he can do it. Like, I don't know if anyone's ever seen the highlights at Ajax. He can do it, but I just don't. I'm wondering if, again, the Premier League is just not suited for him. The players are faster than what they are in the Eredivisie. So I'm wondering if that's an issue of why he's not going down that right.
A few episodes ago, before we started this whole thing, I remember talking to Casey about it, and we got a nice little Ajax contingency here, and I like to talk to the other fans of other places just to get to see where they are, what they feel about their development of their players. And I remember talking to when the Anthony thing was on the cards in the beginning, and I remember talking to them, and they're like, well, one, they didn't understand the price tag, which I don't understand either, right?
No.
But two, they're like, he's not really not that good. Like he's great. He was great for us, but he started falling off towards the time that he was going to leave because he knew he was out. And they were like, that's going to be an issue. They're like, he's a good player, but I don't think he's worth the price. So we already know that. But like, they didn't see what the allure was for him in the beginning. They thought he was a standard winger. So I went going back and watching some of that stuff and like watching games that he was in, and games were performing the same as he was performing here. But he would get a goal, right? He would get a goal. And that's the thing with football and football today. We're very fickle, the fans and people watching it. And everybody likes to say the eye test and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
It's like eye test, but he scores a goal, so it's okay. It's like, yeah, but he played bad for 90 minutes. He played bad for 83 minutes. And then he just so happened to get a goal. So it's like, did he play well or did he just get a goal for us? Because it's getting a goal and it's playing well. You could play well and not score. You could be a striker and not score the whole season and still play well only because you made things happen to mitigate goals. Now, granted, people want goals out of you, so you won't last. You won't last. But like, for prime example, Gabriel Jesus for years at City, would score 2-3 goals, would score a decent handful of goals, right? But he wasn't consistent enough. He wasn't. They didn't keep him because it's like, yo, we can get goals from someplace else. We could win without a striker. We've done that. So like, but he goes to Arsenal. He does the same thing. He breaks his nose in front of the goal and makes shit happen. He's a handful in the box. Now, he's not the greatest striker of all time. I'm not saying that, but you can affect games without scoring. And that's a striker as opposed to the winger, right? But like, Anthony's not affecting games at all. No. You know, he's actually makes us worse when he comes on. So it's like, I want to see if Sancho can change that this year and make us a better, more cohesive team with passing. I don't expect him to score anything. I just expect him to be to hold the ball and be able to pass it on better. So I don't know. I don't like to say, yo, this guy's ass until I start seeing play again. So I'm hoping everybody can exceed expectation, and because if I say, yo, they're wrong or they're ass, then that's just 5 months from now you can be like, well, you said and it's like, yeah, I did say that. Things change, but people don't like that. So it's like, I'll reserve judgment until the time. But I'm hoping what I've seen before it doesn't bode well.
It doesn't. And, you know, again, going back to the point that he's been at Man United for 2 years now. I know most of the majority of last season he was on loan. But we need a central defensive midfielder, and we need one bad. You know, we need a young guy. Casemiro cannot play 90 minutes. And who else are you going to bet? Especially with Amrabat gone now. I don't know if he's coming back, but as of right now, he's gone. So we have no CDM other than Casemiro. You know, so we need one. And trading a guy that's been here for 2 years, hasn't performed well, fallen out with a manager, is more than likely going to do it again once he realizes he's not starting every game. Is he worth trading for that CDM that could push us to third or fourth place?
I'm with that. I'm not disagreeing with that at all. But then it's like, I got to look at Rashford too. Like, hey man, is this going to be one of your up years or one of your down years? Are you gonna?
I think he realizes if it's a down year, he's gone in the summer. I think he knows that. This is a summer where he has to. But again, with Sancho though, it's all in here. You know, when he is like good in his head, he'll hit that ball from 40 yards away and it'll fly into the back of the net. And you know, it's football. When I was growing up, it was, you know, that man's game. Get on with it. It's not that anymore. You know, you got to look after the players. You know, and to Ten Hag, he sent Sancho off. Like, he sent him off to the mountains to go get his head right. And, you know, hey, come back when you're ready. Did everything for Sancho, and Sancho still couldn't make it work. Still fell out with the manager and said, hey, you know, and ended up, you know, and then all the comments after he left, and now he wants to come back. And we all know why he's back. He's back because no one else can afford his wages and doesn't want to take him on. That's the only reason he is here right now. You know, we always talk about players that want to play for Man United. He doesn't. He just has no other choice right now. And that's why, for me, it's a failed experiment and it's time to move on.
Yeah, I'm hoping he could prove you wrong this year. And
I hope so, too. I really do.
And do well, because it'd be good to have. It'd just be good for depth's sake.
I was going to say, if someone clips me, please clip that bit at the end too, where I said, I hope he does do well.
No, that's not how the clips work.
I know it's not how the clips work. I know.
they get the worst possible thing you can say, and then it is what it is. But I was real quick before we get into the next topic, which is a topic we pretty much go over a lot, but I'm almost to, if we could do the De Ligt deal, Still, if we could do that deal still.
Did you see the bid today?
No, I didn't. How much?
Are you ready for this? 34 million euros we bid for him, like 27 million pounds. They instantly turned it down.
Well, yeah. I mean,
they went in with a low ball offer today.
Yeah, but that's how you negotiate, right? You
Mhm.
you go with the low thing first, and then talk upward. But then you have
But
a cap as to what you want to spend.
Absolutely, but the great thing about that is someone in the Man United defense is close to leaving. Whether it's Lindelof or whether it's Maguire, for Man United to put a bid in today means someone is close to leaving. Because United don't have, I think it's time for Lindelof to go. Like I said earlier in the program, Lindelof, Maguire, both on the last years of their deal. Lindelof we don't have the ability to extend this for a year. Maguire, we do. So if we don't sell Lindelof this summer, he can sign for someone in January for free. So why not move him on for even if you get 15 million for him, it's 15, 20 million for Lindelof. I think it's a good deal to put the money towards De Ligt there. And if De Ligt comes in, man, Martinez in the center or on the left, actually, yeah, I would say Martinez on the left, Leny Yoro on the right, and De Ligt in the middle as a back three. That sounds fire.
I was thinking this, so we get the De Ligt deal done, and we decide that we want to play a back four every once in a while, and Ugarte doesn't come through. Put Martinez at CDM. Why not?
No, why not?
Give him a run out at CDM every so often. The guy can pass, he can dribble, he can keep the ball, he can break up play. And I think in certain situations, the height advantage for the two Euro and De Ligt will be massive. It'll help us out, and then they both have a bit of pace. I think we could give them, that could be a little thing we experiment if Ugarte comes and he gets hurt or something, we're not able to get him, or he's just incapacitated for whatever reason. I wanted to play Martinez at CDM a couple times last year, or when we first got him. I'm like, yeah, man, we could try this out just to see, but we never had the center back pairing at the back that you felt comfortable with. Like, all right, until Harry started playing better. Then I was like, you know what, Raw, we might could try something here. But Harry's still not fast enough to get back, and then he has a bonehead movement in him still. It's like he gets the ball in the moment, it's too big, and he can't handle it. And then he'll like blame someone else. He does this little thing, and I'm like, dude, you've been a professional a long time. You're one of the best defenders for England that they have. Like, he is. We saw the difference on him not being there, as opposed to, I would rather him than John Stones, to be fair.
Well, John Stones and him playing together would have been good.
I think Gahey was really good.
Gahey was one of the standouts of the tournament.
Yeah, I think Gahey was really good. I think John Stones was the one that was a pedestrian. He was just there.
I think Walker was the problem for England.
Yeah, he field goals because of Walker and Trippier. Yeah, that was an issue, but I would like to see that. But you know what? Moving on. We say this all the time. We like to ask this all the time. And if you're watching, please chime in. Give us a little comment, please. This is an interactive show, so we want to see your answer. So I'm going to ask the question, and Sean, you can answer. But everybody at home that's watching, get involved and just answer this question too. Who else should go? Who else should go besides, we've already said Lindelof, Maguire, that's fine. Who else needs to go? Me personally, Wan-Bissaka, it's been nice knowing you. It's time to go. It's been great. I love you, bro, but it's just not working out.
If we're gonna play with wing backs, it's not gonna work out.
Yeah, and that would be great if we were, right. Yeah, maybe they're thinking that, like, you know what, we could keep him for, but and it's fine. Who else? Casemiro. I'm sorry, man. It's time. I know we could keep you for 20, 30 minutes, but we're gonna need more. We want guys that can play. I want to be able to put, if Ugarte doesn't come, if he gets hurt, that there's another guy that can play 90 minutes. I can't just have you there because you could play 30 minutes. You don't get paid 30 minutes worth of wages.
I say Casemiro if we can get somebody else in. If we don't, then not a chance in hell do we lose Casemiro.
Yeah,
And I'm gonna say this: last year he came back. You know why everyone's messaging in or whatever. He came back overweight, but he looks fit this year. He looks fit. He came back in shape. You know, apologized to the manager, apologized to everyone, saying it wasn't his good enough year. So you know, if we can get somebody into Philly's place, let him go. But if not, we should not be doing that because if he goes and we don't have a CDM, we are not finishing top 4. We are not finishing top 4.
maybe we just play Kobe there, and then let Ahmad come into the midfield, and then
Yeah.
I'm just grasping at straws. He is a attacking midfielder though, and
Is
Ahmad,
it,
but he's not going to play where Bruno plays.
no, but if you know if we don't have anyone and you put copy there, then Mount goes in, I believe. There's an 8.
Okay, so we had a few messages here on the Facebook that I didn't get a chance to read. So Mark says, shout out to Enio's Cooking. Glenn says a few things. ETH won't play wingbacks, will be 4-2-3-1 all the way. As a keeper coach, he's winning me over. Onana looked solid against Rangers. Can't play wingbacks, so what we have. Malasa was giving me vibes until he borrows Fabregas' legs. True. Can you discuss why you think wingbacks? Oh, why I think wingbacks? Because we're shit defending on the wings. We are shit defending on those edges. We just don't, and we need attacking. We're building an attacking team.
Yeah,
We're building an attacking team. So if we just tell guys to get forward and aid in the attack, we can pin them from the center line forward with our 3 pacey, strong, and tall. Well, too tall center backs, then I'm okay with that. If we could recycle the possession, maybe invert one of them and just be able to join the attack, I'm all right with defending with 3, especially when they're good, or defending with 3.5. Somebody comes back. So that's why I would like wing backs, but you take a man out the midfield when you do that.
You do. But if we have the Delit, Leny, Yoro, and Martinez at the back, you know, we start off with wing backs. 1, if it's not working, you change it. 2, if one of them gets injured, you change it. But Ten Hag started his career, and a lot of the time at Ajax would play that way. And he also started out at Man United trying to play that way.
Look, I think for Ten Hag, when it went south is when we went to the 4-3. When we went to that is when it started going south because you asked guys to keep the ball and to be able to absorb pressure while keeping it and playing it forward. And we just didn't have the guys that can do it. Not confidently enough. It just we would lose the ball. We turned into a more what was it? We would hit on the break over time. We'd have to hit on the break because guys couldn't keep the ball. So it was a matter of, if we're gonna score it all, we have to hit on the break. When he stopped doing that, and we went back to playing a little bit more compact, and then putting the pressure on the opposition to, hey, we're gonna have this ball in your half, in your third, as long as we need, and we're gonna recycle it. We did it in the last 3 games. Even against City. There's times where we just had the ball. City had it because City's gonna have it, right? City, they're technically sound. They're gonna be able, but there's times we had them under pressure and they didn't know what was gonna happen. And then you had Martinez breaking the lines, breaking guys down. We're getting on a half turn, passing the ball forward, and getting numbers in the box. So I'm with that. I don't like the idea of taking them out the midfield, but at the same time, I'd like to see us try different things this season. I would like it to change in game too, right? Change it in game. It's okay. You don't have to commit to if it's not working because every team is going to come with a different game plan. So once you see what's going wrong, see who's playing well, okay, you come off, change it as it goes. Don't be rigid. Don't be rigid. That's why I asked for Ten Hag. That's my one ask for Ten Hag. Don't be rigid this year, bro. Try things, and we'll be okay if you try it and it didn't work. Then we could really look at the players and be like, oh yeah, it's you. You're not working because we've tried this and this thing. But when you stay the same and you refuse to change, and then it's too late, then that's when you get the hate.
Yeah, we call it pulling a Southgate.
Oh God, you sound a little hurt still. Are you still hurt?
I'm still hurt. We lost the final. Still hurt. Okay, still dying inside. Two in a row. But Jeremy Sanchez says Sancho out.
Clear as day.
Yep.
Clear as day. I mean, bro, I want to see him one more year, but I'm not thrilled at what I've seen. And you know what? If he didn't come back, I wouldn't have been mad at that either. I'm not a Sancho fan. I'm not. Although I do think that Ten Hag played a role in him leaving, it's also like, yo, you got to be a man and you got to stand on it. But at the same time, I get it. This is today's game. You said it earlier. You're like, today's game is different than the last because the scrutiny is way more faster and it's more vocal. You're hearing it way more than you did back then because we have a 24-hour news cycle now. We have a 24-hour news cycle that you can't escape. If somebody says something, if a pundit says something, it's coming across your timeline. It's coming across your feed. Even if you're not on there, your team is on there. You're a brand. You're not just, a guy that plays football and then you go home like how it used to be. You're a brand name now. So if something happens, somebody says something, coach says something, whatever the case would be, you hear it. And some guys aren't able to take that as well as they used to before, or so. Even the guys before, they had problems with it. It affected them the same way. They had issues. They're like, yo, I didn't like, I didn't like when the coach said this, but I didn't say anything but it was weighing on my mental for a long time. I didn't play well. I couldn't take it. There's guys, but there's the better players react to criticism better. So it's a mixed bag, bro. It's a mixed bag, but it's definitely way more visceral now, and it's way more in your face. It's palpable. You almost feel it some days. Like, I didn't want none of these guys to miss penalties playing for England, because I'm like, yo, it's gonna be on your doorstep. It's a whole nother level if you miss. And back then it probably wasn't as bad, but bad. But like, this is people can reach you a lot more easier now than they once were. So Sancho he definitely has to deal with his mental health, and we just running out of. We don't have time for mental health at Man United. We don't have time. We need some sick motherfuckers that just want to play football and don't care about nothing else.
Ahmed, baby, that's what I'm liking about Ahmed. He's just wants to play. He's young. He wants to play. I'm liking what I'm seeing from him.
He's a fan favorite already. That's the crazy part.
Well, yeah, when you score in the literally last 30 seconds of a game against Liverpool, knock them out of the FA Cup, of course you're going to be a fan favorite. But no, I think he's a fan favorite because he did his time on loan. He went out, came back, didn't work out, went out, played on loan, came back, and now it's working out. And Ten Hag said he's going to be an integral part of the team this year. So, there's a lot of players that play on the wing that it's, right or, my old boss said it perfect. It's time to sink or swim. Like, this is your last hurrah. If you do not perform this well this year, you're gone. And I think, I just don't think he has it in him to play well this year overall. So I think it's time for him to go and bring it in, and definitely bring in that CDM with the money, or even just a straight swap. Because we won 40 for him, and PSG won, 50 for Ugarte? So maybe, I'm talking pounds here, not euros. So give him 10 million with Sancho. I don't care. Just get a CDM in, and, we can work with one less winger.
But that won't happen, right? You know that won't happen. Just because of all the thing, like, Ten Hag made it right. They made it right. They had a whole conversation, and that's not how it's gonna crack out. Like,
no, I know it's not gonna crack out like that. But at the end of the day, can we live if we honestly, every single Man United fan right now, think about it. Can we live without a winger? Yes. Can we finish fourth without a CDM this year? I don't believe we can. So somebody's got to go. I don't care if it's Sancho. I don't care if it's McTominay. I don't care if it's Casemiro. I don't care if it's Anthony. One of those four needs to go to bring the money in for a CDM. Because you got to think about it, right?
McTominay.
McTominay. I'm not going to get into it again with McTominay, but he can do a job. When McTominay comes on, he scores. when Sancho comes on, does he change the game? No. Does Anthony change the game?
They could both go. All
Yeah.
three of them can go. I know.
Yeah.
I know it's not realistic, but
It's not realistic. Not this
this
summer.
whole McTominay scores when he comes on. Yes, he does. And then there's
Mhm.
7 and 8 other games where you don't see him and he's not affecting the game at all.
I'll
And
take
you're
it.
screaming at Ten Hag like,
Yeah.
"Come on, take McTominay off, please, put him on." But it's also like we're super hurt at the time, and like he did. I'm not gonna slander McTominay. He's done well this season. He's done well for his country. He's done better than. But I don't think we're a team that needs to be holding on to guys that can sometimes do a job.
Well,
right? You need to be doing the job all the time.
We held on to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer because he could do a job, and look how that turned out.
Yeah, and we took
We took him
3 ass kickings in a row before we were like, all right.
Yeah,
that's
but like
enough.
I of all of those, I would say McTominay would be my least favorite to go. Like I would probably keep him, to play a 10 or to play the 8. I don't want him as a 6. I don't want him anywhere near our box. I would like to keep him, but if we can get good money for him, I think we should sell him. It's all down to whether we get some good money for him. So I think we can get 45 million for McTominay. Especially
that's 45 from where though? Who's gonna pay that? That has a need for a player like that. That's all I like to think. I like to think who has a need in the Premier League, right? Who has a need for somebody like that? And they have guys. They don't need a McTominay.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't walk into any team. He doesn't walk in for 45 million. You gotta walk in. You gotta walk in knowing that you're gonna get some.
McTominay would walk into West Ham. He'd walk into Fulham. I think he would.
For 45 million, they would pay that.
No, well,
he'd be close to a record fee.
Well, West Ham just lost their midfield. Just lost their big midfielder. So he went to Saudi. Was it Qatar, Saudi Arabia? One of them. Anyway, he just left for big money. So they're in a need for a midfielder, and they were in for him a couple of years ago. I'm not saying 45, maybe 40, but but somebody needs to. The point is, somebody needs to go, and say, look, I'm not getting game time here. I think it's best for my career. I think it's best for me to go. But the problem is, the previous establishment was so shit at signing people. We have people like Casemiro who are signed for another 2 years on 320 grand a week. We can't get rid of him.
I'm looking at this thing here where they're talking about West Ham and they're linked with N'Golo Kante.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because Lopetegui wants him. He wants him. He's like, yo, he could still do a job here. He saw him in the Euros. It's like, why is he playing in Saudi? We can get him for 20 million. 20 million for N'Golo Kante.
Yeah, but
they're not going to give us 40 million for.
Yeah, but the problem is, the problem with the Saudi league is if you leave the Saudi league before your contract's up, you have to pay back all the taxes that they let you off. That was the problem with Henderson when he left. So they have an agreement that they don't pay taxes in the Saudi league on their wages if they stay for their contract. If they leave before their contract's up, they've got to pay all that money, all that taxes. So yeah, it's going to be 20 million for him. But you're also, how old is Conte now? 38?
32.
32. So you want to get Conte at 32 for a year for 20 million, or you get McTominay at, what's he, 27 for the next 5 years for an extra 20 million? Because
I'll take Conte. I'll take Conte for 2 years, especially after what he just did.
CDM. Conte's a CDM. He's not.
He can play. He can play. He can play everywhere except for attacking. He can play everywhere. He can play everywhere on the pitch. That guy. Any midfielder role you need, he can do except for a 10. He can do anything. That guy. He's a baller. It's just in him.
32. At 32.
At 32. At 32. Did you see him for France? He didn't look 32. He did not look 32 at all. The thing is, he's not in the league no more because he was getting hurt. So that's the main thing. It's like he's too injury prone. So that's why 20 million is probably what they'll offer for 2-3 years, right? At the twilight of your career, you get to play for West Ham. That's on the up. That's been doing pretty well. So, I don't know.
Yeah, but
I'll take me personally. I'm taking N'Golo Kante over at 32 years old over, but that's how low the opinion I have of McTominay, and I don't know why it's so low because he scored goals for us when we needed and rescued us. So maybe I'm being a little bit dense here. Wouldn't be the first time.
people that I know are going to love that I'm saying this, but if it wasn't for McTominay, we would have been lower than 8th last year.
For sure. If you take away those, 8, 9, 10 goals, 10 goals, we
yeah.
lose games. We lose at least 4 of those games.
Yeah, because 2 of them were in the last minute.
Yeah, so yeah, for sure. For sure. He saved our ass. But like Marouane Fellaini used to save our ass.
Fellaini.
Marouane Fellaini. I watched a Fellaini highlight clip from Man United. Somebody was like, yo, nobody talks about how you used to save our ass back in the day. And I watched him score so many. If it's not in the last minute, it's in the last 7 or 8 minutes. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yo, he really did used to save our ass from certain defeat. And we would still end up 4th or 5th or whatever when we weren't having the best time with Fellaini, I wouldn't say. But I think that's
the only reason we got
level.
The only reason we got Fellaini in is because we couldn't sign Cesc Fabregas that summer. We were close to signing Cesc Fabregas, but again with the current regime, the past regime, they couldn't do it. So we ended up with Leny.
Yeah, which is a steady drop off from Cesc Fabregas, especially what he went on to do after that. So definitely. But we talked about the game. We talked about all the ballers that we like.
Let's talk about
these. Let's talk about these youngsters.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. They look good. They did look good. There's a lot of players in there. Tell me your 3. Did you watch the game? Did you watch the highlights?
So I watched the highlights of the game because I was on vacation. So I didn't really watch. I saw the Hugo goal.
I think he's going out on loan. I think he's going out on loan.
Yeah, I watched highlights for different players and then for the game in general. Which what I will like to say is I might start a fucking highlights channel because you can't get good highlights for whatever reason. If you just want to watch, I remember I could watch Match of the Day. And
oh my God, there's nothing like Match of the Day, dude. There is nothing like dude. I still to this day can remember when I was younger getting a chicken curry and going home and watching Match of the Day. Dude,
10 o'clock at night, you could turn on Match of the Day. You could watch all the. It felt like you watched the whole game because they got even the touches the innocuous touches that meant nothing to the game. You could watch a whole cycle of play, a whole passage of play, and maybe nothing came from it. But it's like you only get when it's either you get a pass that somebody made that was great, or a big chance that either went in or didn't go. And that's a highlight for them. No. That's not a highlight, brother. I need to see the main key points of the game, right? And I need to see how they got to this part. And we just end up in front of the goal. What is going on? I might need to start a highlight channel.
Well, don't start the channel. Just put it in here.
We already got a lot going on here, man. I gotta do a lot. We could build up to do that, but I might have to start doing it because I also don't know how they do it with YouTube because a lot of these guys, their channels come down 2 or 3 days after they put it up. So I didn't really get to see. I will probably watch it in the next couple days just to rewatch. The next big game we got is at Arsenal LA. Shout out to all the LA guys. How many of you are going to the game? Please write in the comments below. How many of y'all are going to the game? Let me know your seats. Put the barcode for the ticket in there as well. So I just let me know how that game was, where you're gonna be sitting, and what do you expect to see. And if you end up fighting any Arsenal fans, you'll get an extra 2 points from me.
Yeah, I would like to speak to somebody down there. I got a little boy who's probably watching right now who would die for our Garnacho signature. So if anybody down there can get one, let me know. Because my little boy will freak out if you can get something on a bit of paper for him.
So he's a big Garnacho fan.
He loves Garnacho, dude. I just ordered him the new Man United jersey with Garnacho on it. When we went to Old Trafford last year, Garnacho. I told him, like, hey, I don't know if this is going to be his number. I think he might be swapping. Doesn't care. Still wanted Garnacho with his old number on.
So since we're on the subject, this is a real quick question. So, and people could put in the comments too. I want to hear. Coming up, like your kids. How old is your kid, if you don't mind?
He's 12.
Okay, so kid's 12 years old. He's in a football mind now at 12. So,
oh yeah,
right. He's conscious of it, because I would like to say I was watching football, but I wasn't conscious of it until 10, 11, 12, right? Like of what's going on or like whatever. So,
well, it helps with dad's British, you know.
Who's one of your favorite players that you at 10, 12, 15 years old? Who was a player you were backing heavy at that time?
One of my favorite players of all time was actually Dennis Irwin, left back for Man United. Loved Dennis Irwin. Brian McClare was a good player. I used to love Paul Ince until that Judas went to fucking Liverpool.
Sure did.
You know,
do you see him now? He doesn't say anything about Man United now. You would have thought he just played for Liverpool.
Well, he's actually, if you watch it, he's on MUT
United Stand.
Yeah.
He's
on United Stand, but
he doesn't do when he was on United Stand, he would never, like, if they'd ask him like, so who you think's gonna win between them, he's like, I don't like to make predictions on game. That's how he was.
Yeah.
Now he's getting a check from MUTV.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But there was a lot of people that not really heard of. Like overall, I used to love Dennis Irwin. Dennis Irwin was like the early 90s was probably one of my favorite players. You know, everyone's always Cantona, Giggs. You know, Lee Sharp was a great player. I used to love Lee Sharp, because he would play with Ryan Giggs, and he'd always do that when one of them score, they'd run next to each other doing this. So that, there was a lot of good players that I used to love for Man United, that whereas everyone would be more of like a Cantona or Keane but the early around that age, Dennis Irwin was my standout guy. I love Dennis Irwin. Actually, I think I'm pretty sure one of these white jerseys has Dennis Irwin on the back of it. I'm pretty sure. I'll have to find it next game and put it up. But if you've seen the new white one, have you seen the new white jersey yet?
Yeah, with the red across the chest. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the new white.
I like that one. I just have a problem with the crest part. It just being, but that's what most teams are going to now, right? Most teams are going to.
There you
go. Yeah,
I know I had it somewhere.
That's one of my favorite ones all time. Anything with a collar, I like.
Yeah.
I just love the collar thing. The collar thing just goes crazy for me.
Yeah.
So I'd say I was 9 years old in '99, and I remember having to have dish. I always say this all the time. You have to either have dish or like satellite, or in my neighborhood, we'd have like a little black box that you put on top, and you hook into your TV that give you access to the satellite channels if somebody was around you that had satellite. So you're basically jacking into their thing. So that's how you were able to watch, because they didn't get the TV rights till 92, 93. Yeah. So it was hard, and ESPN actually had a chance to pick it up, and they dropped the ball 3 times, which is crazy. I know they fucking hate that now, but they wouldn't do a good job of covering it now anyway.
No, hell no.
NBC barely does a good job of it. But
I'm going to say this right now. Sorry. Fuck ESPN and fuck ESPN chat. Like, every goddamn one of those guys are full of shit. Nothing but goddamn Man United haters. The whole lot of them. So, yeah. Fuck you, ESPN.
Hey, you know what's crazy about ESPN? Even the ones that, like, I'll get back to my original point, but the ESPN guys that were like, that post, they post something about Man United every week. We're not playing, and they'll just post something like, and it'll be crazy. It'll be like, ex-Man United player in the news for it. And I'm like, dude, he played for us for 1 year, 15 years ago. Why is it ex-Man United player? He played for 10 other clubs in between now and then. why? But it just has to be Man United because that's
Yeah.
what gets the clicks.
People like Craig Burley, they're an ESPN commentator because Sky Sports News doesn't want him. That's it. They just don't want him. NBC doesn't want him, like, which has the Premier League on it. So that they don't want him. So they're just washed up soccer players. Craig Burley wasn't exactly great, was he? Played for Chelsea in the 90s, where they finished 8th every season. So
they have a bunch of bums. No offense. They play at the high level. No offense. They played at the highest level, but they're bums. Comparatively to who you could have, they're all bums. Like I guess what's his name is good. The Trinidadian guy they have, he's good. You know what I'm saying? That's fair. But he played for Portsmouth. Like he didn't play at a high level. Well, he played at a high level, played the Premier League, but he didn't play at like any great teams, Portsmouth teams. So like, but so Rio was just getting on when I started watching. Of course, my favorite player all time for Man United is Dwight York, only because of our cultural connection. And my grandfather used to always lie and tell me that he coached him in Trinidad. Granddad, rest in peace, but I know you are capping. I wasn't old enough to tell you that now, but I know you didn't coach Dwight York. But he was Dwight York head. Dwight York's actually from Tobago. He's not from Trinidad, but it's all the same, right? So that was my favorite player. Love watching him play. Didn't play particularly long with us, but scored a lot of great goals for us. I think it was like 63 or 66 goals. Won a treble. Great link up with Andy Cole. So love that. So, but my favorite player, I would say, when I first really started getting conscious and serious about football, was Rio Ferdinand, for sure. Rio coming in with the cane rolls and looking like a Rolls Royce and just defending. His defending, I think he's probably one of the greatest English defenders of all time. I think he revolutionized defending in England with his style of defending, and just the partnership was great, and he worked out. And Anton was pretty good too.
He played for West Ham. He's pretty good.
Anton was pretty good too.
Hopefully, we have that now with Leny, Yoro, and Martinez.
And then special shout out to Paul Scholes. Absolutely love Paul Scholes, but who doesn't love Paul Scholes? Oh yeah. I'm mad I didn't get to meet him at our pro day. We had a whole dinner. They had one with Quentin Fortune, David May, a bunch of guys, but we stopped doing it after COVID. So hopefully we're hoping to get more guys to do it. And if we do, I will buy your plane ticket to come to Atlanta and do our Legends dinner. It's great, but
I'd love to go to that.
Yeah, I would definitely. The last time I got into a car wreck for Davis Scholes, and I'm Davis Scholes, Paul Scholes, and I couldn't see him. I'm still the effects of the car accident. I'm calling him Davis Scholes. But yeah, I got in a car accident picking up my suit that day, and I missed it.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it was
tough.
Let's
talk about a week on Saturday.
Ooh,
it's gonna be a busy weekend,
bro. That's gonna be so fun. I'm kind of amped about it now. I'm trying to be like chill and not think about it.
Dude, I'm buzzing about it already.
I'm trying to chill, but I'm waiting. I'm also waiting to see what MUTV is gonna do, because they do something.
Are they doing anything? Because they've released it for LA already. I don't know. Are they doing it? Or is anybody doing anything?
Maybe they're only doing it for the big cities, right? Because they did it for New York. Because New York has 2 supporters clubs, and like one of which I met all those YouTubers. I met the Stretford Paddock guys. I met the United View guys. So like, they have a place where you can go that everybody knows to go to. So I don't know if South Carolina has that. I'm not sure. I've been getting some comments from South Carolina guys talking about, hey, we can't wait to see y'all. We want to meet up. Places like Tampa. We already tapped in with Tampa for sure. But Orlando, Tampa, I got North Carolina, just all these different places that are like reaching out to want to, so I want to have something. I want to even if it's just a fellowship.
Yeah.
What I'm saying?
Yeah, like they're gonna have something. I'm sure somebody's gonna be doing some tailgating down there. I know me and you are gonna be walking around doing interviews and stuff. I'm also going down with my boys, and that's another point. we actually have a special guest on Thursday. We actually have my VP, Quinton. So he'll be live on the show Thursday.
Sounds good. I can't wait to meet. So you have a bunch of guys coming from.
Oh, we have 7 of us.
Okay, yeah. Can't wait. Cannot wait to meet all of them. Yeah. It's always a good thing. I mean, we could probably end on this note, or not this note, but just this topic. But we have a thing when you meet other United fans. Like I was in Florida recently, got stuck with all this stuff or whatever, and I was wearing this exact shirt, and I have a Man United tattoo behind my leg on my calf, and I'm wearing the bucket hat and just walking around Orlando, and people are stopping me. A guy stopped me in the airport. A Blackburn fan stopped me in the airport. He's like, "Why Man United?" And I tell him, and then he's like, "Yeah, my girl here, she's a City fan. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with her. Sorry to curse, but I don't know what's wrong with her." And having conversations, and I had like maybe 9 or 10 of those conversations the whole weekend. Yeah. And it's always just nice to meet, even if you're a fan of a rival club or whatever. It's always just nice to meet a lot of those Man United fans or people that know football in general. So that's why I'm most stoked about it. It's like the game is fine, but the fellowship of it all, just the weekend, is the best part of it. That's why I like Munich so much. Mm-hmm. That's why I like going to Man United games so much, because the game is fine, but all the people you meet before and after the games are great.
Yeah, the thing for me is, I've been to so many Man United games, so for me personally, I know not everyone's fortunate enough to be doing that. But for me, my like what I'm actually excited about is just meet. Well, first off, I get to meet you for the first time, but just meeting everybody for the first time. I've met some of the boys from the North Carolina one. I've met some people from the LA one. Where we've met people from. We've actually had some of the boys from Detroit come down into our bar and spend the day with us. So having that ability where we're going to have so many supporters clubs together, I'm really enjoying it. So, and not unfortunately, I'm actually going to be wearing a Man United jersey this Friday, but I'm going to watch Man United versus Real Betis in Pittsburgh. Liverpool versus Real Betis in Pittsburgh this Friday, wearing a Man United jersey.
That is so random. That is the most random. It's a random city to pick and 2 random teams.
It's not, because the owners of the Pittsburgh Penguins own Liverpool.
Okay. Still, Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like Real Betis. That's the randomness part of it. That's the part that makes it.
We're playing Real Betis though.
Yeah, but where though?
Where is it?
I don't know. I've been taking it. I forgot that they even going to Arsenal. They're playing Arsenal in LA.
Yeah.
Is that in LA? Because LA is weird.
I thought we were playing it. No, it's Arsenal that's playing Real Betis. But I think the Real Betis Liverpool, they have some connection somewhere. And the owners of the Penguins own Liverpool. So we're going down on Friday to watch the game, sitting in the away end, cheering on Real Betis this Friday. Because at the end of the day, it's still still a football game to go to, and even though I'm a huge United fan, I still like watching football no matter who's playing. So
I like to watch football as long as it's not the MLS. So you can. I mean that. Don't get me started. I could be here another hour talking about how bad the MLS is. Just, but shout out to everybody that watched. Everybody that commented. We went an hour. We can go as long as we want. We are not owned by anybody. Unless you want to come and pay money, then you could put a time limit. But we can go as long. Shout out to everybody that stayed in. We had a good amount of people in here. I got them streaming on different platforms. And
Stay
man.
On for a sec afterwards, Mike. I got something to show you.
For sure. And I'm glad. Listen. I'm sorry. I apologize at the end for the awkward leaving. I'm still making the intro. I've been stuck in an airport and also playing college football 25 for ungodly amount of time. I'm still playing it. So I'm going to be finishing up the intro, but at the end, you could just click off the video and stop looking at us.
We'll see everybody on Thursday. We'll have more information. Hopefully we'll have a signing by then.
Up the Reds. Till next time. Y'all be easy. Stay safe.